So we've just killed Pelinal, and now we are entering his memory. In this memory, if you've read the Song of Pelinal, we are basically on a warpath to the top of the Imperial City. The dog here is named Corn, which I believe is a reference to Lorcan, which is sort of like a play on words of sorts. There's a few dogs within this mod, and I think they all stand for different things. I'm not smart enough to understand why. So we're just in our own character model, but we're actually meant to be Pelinal. And they've deliberately made a lot of the enemies here weaker, just so you can shred through them, just to show how powerful Pelinal was, because these guys don't look weak, but they are leveled weakly. I really hope you enjoy watching this unfold, though. If you're like me, you believe Skyrim is for the Nords, and the aliens are Daedra worshippers. So, I mean, to me, they're out of color. Yeah. Because, I mean, what are the Daedra? It's just ridiculous. I think it's the most base form of existence, is worship Daedra. It's like, I don't know, there's no mysticism about it, it's just ridiculous. Ask me. That's why I've done, though. Yeah. Everybody believes in Daedra. That's what. I think Pelinal's in the right. I think he shouldn't have a regret here, but, you know, it is what it is. What I find interesting about this, and it reminds me a bit of the House of Dragons TV show not lining up perfectly with the books, because George R.R. Martin came in and he's like, oh well, the books are an account of the Maesters, whereas what actually happened could have been different, and what was said could have been not exactly what was passed on in the history books. So that's his little explanation as to why things don't line up in the show via the books. Which, to be honest, is quite a smart way to deal with that. Because, to be honest, I haven't read any of the Game of Thrones or House of Dragon, but from memory, it's all written from each character's perspective. So, there is definitely narrator's sort of bias. So I think this is probably explained in a similar way, like what the book says he did versus what he actually did. I mean, at the end of the day, he was just a man, right? So he was a very powerful man. This is probably falling in line with the exaggerations of the tale, because none was alive to witness it, so they just saw the corpses. So I suppose, to a degree, there's truth to it, but this is probably more realistically how it went down. I don't think he was some Terminator that activated his pulverizing lasers and just minced everyone to death. But yeah, it's all quite cool. I mean, you put it, magic's not out of the question, but it's more of an elf thing, maybe. In my opinion, Vicken really should have held this way later in the mod. Like, you can stumble upon this encounter with Pelinal and his memory pretty early. I think it feels like such a climax to the story. It's, you know, I mean, it's not super relevant to the actual plot of the mod, but it's such a like exhilarating moment that I can't think of it getting any more climatic than this, right? Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, there's a lot of good music in this, and a lot of good boss fights. But yeah, to be honest, when I think of visual mod, I think of this sequence at the forefront before I think of anything else. I don't think of, you know, delving through dungeons to get to LeMay. I don't think of curing a guy's eyes of madness. Yeah, or I mean, when I actually start the mod, I'm like, okay, I gotta do this sort of busy work before I can get to this point. And it's sort of a challenge, right? Like, if you start this like I did pretty early in your character creation, it can be very challenging. So it's almost like each time I play it, it's like a personal goal. Like, at what point am I able to take down this sort of sequence within a playthrough? And it usually is about the same level mark, to be honest, like in the early 20s or so. I found on like a fresh playthrough, you end up finishing with a little bit of like intro leveling before you make your way to the start of the mod. Usually you end up finishing like level 32 or so, or like that early 30s. And yeah, it is difficult to continue playing Skyrim after that, because it's like, oh, what do I do now? I feel like I've done so much.
You really enjoy killing. You are like a child tearing legs off of insects. The mythic era will not be over. Not until the tainted blood of Ada still remains in the world. Like yours and mine. Fine. We will talk after I cleave your head from your shoulders. Perhaps you will listen then.
Such an incredibly epic fight, and I love how the theme for Umaril is very similar to the warpath music that plays up to this point. And this is a really tough fight. One of my favourite attacks you'll see him do it when he stabs into the ground and all these like ethereal swords like zero in on your location. It's really, I don't know how they implemented this so well, but you know, kudos man. But yeah, here we go.
Wonderful, wonderful, my Lord Pelinal. This was splendid. Songs of your heroic acts will be sung in 1,000 years yet to come. Oh, of course. I would like to show you something interesting in Umaril's gallery. Please, follow me.
So after defeating Umaril, we go into his gallery, and I think it's really, like, obviously disturbing, but really cool how they put this together. Like, I don't exactly quite understand what it's portraying, but to me I see like a winged beast, which Umaril is not. So I imagine it's somewhat like a, I don't know, like a bloody, he's just a freak. So that's why I killed him, alright? He's just a freak, I just killed him, he's a freak. Then what more should I say?
What do you think? This is the lost body art from Abagalis. It seems Umaril went to some pains to reproduce it. A mountain of guts under the bloody rain. It looks almost like one of your battlefields. In any other circumstances, you and Umaril might have been good friends. It does not seem to suit your tastes. Well, no matter. What I really wanted to show you is further on. Follow me, please.
So Sheogorath is a witness for a lot of this because he wants to see how it plays out.
This is it. She is Umaril's slave. One that is used only once, if you understand. Tomorrow she would likely be cut down and become a part of the artwork you've seen before. But Umaril is dead now, so there's no worry about that anymore. Splendid. You are her lifesaver. She carries Umaril's seed. It is up to you to decide what to do. It's all the same to me what you do with her. However, if she lives, she will pose a threat. The blood of Ada is powerful, but it also breaks the minds of those who carry it within themselves, as you yourself should know very well. Very well. I see you need some time to decide. Don't rush your decision.
Help me. Help me. Thank you. Yes, but... yes.
At the Doggy. So, if you choose to kill Mary, she will obviously die. Wow, that was a tricky one. But no, you'll come back out and Pelinal will get pierced by Molag Bal, and a bit of his soul will be stealing. The soul, bye-bye. Part of his soul that ends up here. So, we made the right choice.
Ah, so you didn't kill her. This is unusual for you. But was it a right thing to do? Her child will surely cause disasters, larger even than you. As you wish. Then, farewell.
A really nice ending scene here, which I'll let play out, and it feels like such a good conclusion to this part. It's crazy it's so early on.
I was a storm, the rage itself. This is how I could fight battle after battle, lay village after village in ash and ruins, and murder women and children alike. It was always raining after the battle. Gentle rain washed away the blood and healed my pain. It swept the dirty blood away and drove it to the end of the sea. So I fought. So I wanted to think. Kain was always crying after battle, but not for me. No. She was crying for the innocents lying there. The blood of the weak will no longer be shed. Even Kain will not need to cry again. My fight is over. I ran on and on. When I finally came to my senses, the rain of remorse had ceased, and the sun had long since begun to sink in the distance. I turned around, and at the end of my long shadow saw what I was looking for. A golden wheat field, gentle breeze stroking it, a woman hitting the pillow, feathers bursting out of it turning to snow, and a child playing with the wolf. This is the Wind of Kine. I finally found it. Finally.
Such a great conclusion. But now we move onwards. I've just gone through a fortress and it's not too interesting, I'll be honest. Here's that moonstone sort of Jode's sword though, which functions really similar to the Moonlight Great Sword. But you can see this mod actually adds weapon arts to a lot of the weapons you pick up, and it's something really good. They do require magicka to use, fair enough. And like the main attack on this one, I barely have enough magicka to do it. You have to wait for it to fully charge. But the only problem I have, and this is a personal taste thing, I hate really big great swords. Like the one I'm using, I would almost call too much because of the handle, but I kind of like the aesthetic of it. But you know, any bigger, like Morihaus or the Guts Great Sword, you know, from Berserk, it's like, it just looks ridiculous put on your back. I think that's what it is. Like on your shoulder or whatever, it's fine. And besides, a particular animation for holding great swords while drawn, it looks ridiculous with a sword so thick. Like it hasn't been accounted for. But even some of the regular great swords that you get, they're still like really, really long, and it just doesn't work too well, I guess. Like from a logistical point of view, because you'd be running along, la 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 la, and you're like, surely the sword's like, I mean, I have worn a sword on my back, not a mission I'm proud of, or am I? But you know, and I know, like, it's really annoying. You're running and the sword just digs into the ground. It's stupid. So yeah, and that really bothered me playing Elden Ring, because I wanted to use the greatsword, and I just could not bring myself to, because when I walked around with the out of combat, I'd always sheath, and it just looked stupid. I just couldn't do it. So we're coming up to an alchemist hut here, and it's good to just stock up and whatnot, but really I'm just here for the collectible things like ash that gives you a +10 magicka.
It's the Thrassian plague.
So
It starts with fatigue, chills, and high fever. When it gets worse, your blood rots and your body starts decaying. When the black spots appear on your body, it's too late. It's far better to prevent infection. They carry the Thrassian plague. In the end, they break the skull of their host on their foreheads and look for a new host.
So rather than go through the slums, which progresses the quest line to get to the Imperial City, I'm now going to switch directions from that pivotal point once we kill the flying Daedra and go another direction. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but I prefer sort of tackling the outside first before going to the inside, because once you're inside, like, there is a lot of stuff to do. So I'd rather just get this out of the way. And it's good because then you don't forget anything, and you get all the karma you need, so you can like endeavour to get the good ending, which I'm aiming for this run through. So I don't think I probably won't be showing off the bad endings, because it just makes you feel bad as a human being. But yeah, love the architecture here. Gives me Demon Souls vibes actually with the Tower Knight. But yeah, love the architecture here. When I first, I didn't realize those enemies could come out. There's like towers on each side that could, with doors. When they came out through to attack me, I freaked out because I was so on a level at the time that I first played this. But yeah, these guys, I'm not a fan of the armor. I think it looks absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't look good on a player model. There's a few, like, they came through and added a bunch of new armors, or like armor models I should say, but the ones that are still here, like that one in particular, looks really dodge. Not a fan, I'll be honest, not a fan. So, another thing with archery gameplay overall, you have arrows embedded in you, and they don't go away until you remove them. So cool. So many funny screenshots with arrows like stuck in between the visor of a helmet. You know, yeah. So this bridge up here leads us to the sphere of Jiggalag, where the Grey March is coming. So after the champion Cyrodiil became Sheogorath and released Jiggalag, Jiggalag immediately went on a warpath. And I think because he's the god of order, he's going after Chaos first, which is Molag Bal. And Molag Bal and him are kind of a stalemate, but it's, you know, when you think about, like, for them to even restrain and curse Jiggalag, it took like multiple Daedric princes to do it. So by himself, Molag Bal's, he's screwed. Later in the quest line, you release the Grey March, and you can actually kill Jiggalag, which technically is actually helping Molag Bal, but it's, you know, entropy, right?
What is it, little friend? I know him well. I miss the days when my friend Varla served Emperor Balazar with me. But he's changed. He was swallowed by the fear of at last. Varla is finally free. Little friend, I thank you. Please, take this as a sign of my gratitude. What is it? Nothing. Mithril. It can be beaten like copper, and Dwemer made it from metal, lighter and harder than steel. This wonderful armor was a gift from the Emperor Bel-Hazar. Pepe. You mean Bishop Palin? I don't like him. His words are pure poison. My Lord Bel-Hazar has been driven mad by his words too. No, it's too dangerous. No one's allowed to cross it. If you want to get to the other side, to guard this bridge is to guard the Imperial City. It's my mission to protect my friends in the city.
So we got to sadly take out Ritho, which we still get calm for because we are freeing his soul by killing him. Because, you know, even though he's failed his duty, he can pass on. I think that's the point. Because really, he's a non-hostile entity. So it's interesting that you do get karma for attacking him and killing him. You can say, look, hey mate, I do want to get through you. And he's like, well, I'm going to kill you. But, you know, just blatantly attacking him and you get karma for it. So all I can gather from that is he is freeing you, or you are freeing his soul. So, but then now that we got the key, we can carry on through, and we're going to see someone we'll be talking or battling with later, Lazar, who's embedded in the wall. But the reason they stopped, and we're going to talk to an NPC up here, but the barriers that, where, you know, Pelinal's one of the barriers. Such powerful souls are protecting the borders of Molag Bal's domain, and that's what's more or less the Grey March hit that and just melted into a big pile of crystals.
Lazar. Supposedly he was a shepherd from the north, but he gave up his humanity and reason to hunt down Molag Bal. That man's determination is frightening. Trying to kill a god. Remains of the soldiers of Order who touched the barrier. It is, however, even this can merely slow down Greymarch. It won't be able to protect. He was a priest of the Eight Divines. He was a kind-hearted man, at least until he returned from the Colovian jungle. Perhaps the real Pepe died in that jungle long ago. At least I wish it were so.
So we'll come back here later to fight Jigalag potentially, but we'll just continue on going around the western side. We have Paladin Melus again. If you remember Paladin Melus, he's a Molag Bol's Daedric questline in Oblivion, and he's sworn to never take up his sword.
Why won't he leave us alone? How many times do I have to kill him? How many times?
But he gets sort of cruelly, mocked by Molag Bal. And here's where you get your mounts, the skeleton mounts. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. I don't really find a need for a mount in this mod. It's not really like that. So we continue onwards. We face the fork in the road. So the fork in the road takes us to the left-hand side takes us to a little village up here, which has a few collectibles and like a little mini fight. But there's not too much more to it. It's just villages, it's just fleshing out the worlds, explaining there's probably old lore with the villages and whatnot, but yeah, a lot of areas are used just as like somewhere to explore for collectibles' sake. So this is the second barrier tower we have to take down, which is assisting Jigalag into entering, which is Morihaus, one of Pelinal's good mates. So we need to enter his memory to free his soul, which is also pretty cool. I'll let it play out.
The age of Mer is over, and the age of men has come. The king of Nenalata was right. The age of Mer is over, and the age of men has come. The king of Nenalata was right.
After the storm comes the calm, and with it, the grief. After the storm comes the calm, and with it, the grief.
So you went before me, too. You remain faithful to yourself until the end. You told me once, Pelinal, that Kh-Utta changes things through love. This is why my heart feels so heavy. It would be so much easier to surrender myself to bloodlust and rage. But I will keep watch for her, for Paravania.
So going on further, we get to our next sort of hotspot location, which is graveyard of sorts. This is just next to Morihaus's burial tower. So we just find our way in, and this is another personal favourite location. There's a lot of really great experiences, I should say. And yeah, this is very enjoyable. This particular monster, the shambles, is not that enjoyable, but the model looks cool. Originally, it was looked like kind of like a troll skeleton. The model is just like a really outdated model, and yeah, the new model looks flash. Looks like its own unique being. So you'll notice there's a lot of like tombs and prisons and sewers in this. I can only imagine how difficult it is to do like various dungeons and whatnot. And I suppose it makes sense to a degree, but yeah, it can get annoying. But there is plenty of diversity to keep you sort of interested. And fortunately, no major puzzles here, though. That was what I was not hoping for. With ultimate combat too, if you get like poise broken, when you lose like near death, you end up just sort of staying still, and you may as well just reload, because very rarely do they miss their attacks. Normally I fight my way through here, but I thought it would get pretty boring as a viewer to watch me fight a bunch of skeleton things. And they don't really drop anything good either, so I was like, let's run past it. There's one thing I definitely noticed with like Souls games and Skyrim as well, is like you can actually make short work of dungeons and stuff if you just gun through it. So I don't know how you'd even counter a player from doing that, unless you have like a door that's like, oh, I guess, actually I think Zelda's already done it. You need to kill the monster in the room before the door unlocks. I guess I could do something like that, but how does that make sense in like a fleshed out world? It doesn't really. Like, imagine if you like were locked out of a house, or locked inside of a house, and you just had to kill the occupant, and all of a sudden door unlocks. It's like, it's so easy.
I'm sorry, Vena. It will be a bit noisy again. Yes, it's alright. I'll be right back.
We finally put Paladin MELUS to rest, and hopefully his soul can pass on to Aetherius. But for this part of the video, we're finished for now, and I'll join you in the next one, where we finish up all our jobs outside of the Imperial City, and finally make it inside. So look forward to seeing you then. Bye.